Hello, everyone. This is testimony, part two, where I left off. So, my house got hit with a mini tornado in Florida back in 2016, around Easter time. A company came in, they made unnecessary cutouts, and dried out the house. I had a high power bill. One wall was damaged. I had to pay a very high water bill. And I wasn't living in the house at the time. My mother and her boyfriend were living in it, so they had to relocate. Ceiling fans fell down. I lost the entire bedroom ceiling and half the living room. And a lot of stuff I had to throw away too. So I went through a lot of money living in my apartment outside my house and paying bills in the house that was demolished. So I had to break my lease, move back into the house. The house had no vanities, no baseboards. So I moved into the house. I'm married at the time. Actually, didn't get married yet. At the end of 2016, I ended up getting married, and I started to fix up my house. And most of the time I lived down there, I was with this woman who became my wife, like I said. And it was just, pool, karaoke, bars, a lot of unnecessary spending, a lot of eating out, even though she did cook a lot. I cooked a lot too. But money goes. So I started to see my funds go quickly. And by the end of 2016, whatever little money I had left over after paying cash for the house, it was pretty much gone, practically. So I had to take up a job. So I get a job, and I couldn't hold the job while I was living down there. Every time I found something, it just wouldn't last. I delivered pizza for a while, and I did side work painting. I'm a painting contractor. So my ex-wife, my wife at the time, wanted me to start my own business. So I started my own business, but work wasn't coming in. I caught a lot of crap from my in-laws, so I just dealt with it. So we moved back into the house, and it's 2017, and we weren't always getting along. We were fighting a lot about money. She had a job, which was steady, but I wasn't pulling my weight. So luckily, I got with a neighbor. He came and put up ceilings for me, him and his wife, for $500. And I made a deal with him. I gave him the countertops for the vanities, and he did the baseboards for me. So everything else, luckily, I was able to do. I'm pretty good at drywall, so like I said, I paint. So I plastered, compound, taped. The house looked brand new when I was done with it. And then later on, I was able to come into some money with some work, and I was able to buy the vanities before I sold the house, which I only made a couple $1,000 profit off of it. I sold at the wrong time. Now the house is worth probably 3 times the amount. So I sold the house in around 2018, 19, something like that. And I rent a room to a friend's ex-girlfriend. So me and my wife at the time, we end up splitting the bills with this woman. Very nice to take us in. So I put everything in storage, and whatever I needed, just my bedroom set, I kept. Everything else just stayed in storage, like I said. So in 2019, we were getting tired of the roommate, the woman that we were living with. She was taking advantage of us, constantly trying to eat dinner with us every night, and we paid certain bills that she used, and she never gave half of her and towards it. So we decided to leave. So we ended up going living with my in-laws, and that was difficult. So one day, my father-in-law Larry says to me, he says, "There's an ex-mob boss that's going to be at our church." I said, "Oh, really? What's his name?" So he tells me his name, and so I was like, "All right, let's go." So we end up going, and then what happened was is that that's when the seed was planted in me to get saved, which I didn't really know much about the Christian faith. I went to Catholic school for 7 years. So I said, all right, let me go. So I go, I buy the guy's book, or I read the book after the sermon, and God spoke to me, and he said that, if anybody could be saved, so could you. So then I did a lot of thinking. I started to Google a lot of stuff about God, and I got very curious. So I shook his hand, chatted with him for a minute. "Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn too. How you doing?" So I'm going to do a part 3, my return to New York. But anyway, and I'm going to speak about the pandemic. So I got a couple of verses that I want to share with you. Proverbs 21, verse 1. "In the Lord's hand, the king's heart is a stream of water, and he channels toward all who please him." And then John 10:10, "The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I come to give you life abundantly." So I hope you enjoyed my story, my testimony. I'll be doing a part 3 on my return to New York. And that year was 2019, right after I left off after I met this man, Michael Francis, ex-mob boss of the Colombo crime family. So have a good night. Thank you for listening. God bless you. Ciao.